More than 6 months after Hamas attacked Israel, anti-Semitism is still sweeping across college campuses, including elite universities like Columbia. That is where we find our own Brian Yanis this morning. Hi, Brian.
Sandra, good morning. Well, just recently, Columbia University students hosted an anti-Israeli event that included speakers known to support terrorism and violence. As a result, several students were indefinitely suspended and evicted from on-campus housing after the event. Hillel, which is the nation's largest Jewish student organization, reports there have been 1,275 anti-Semitic incidents on college campuses since the October 7th attack. That's an 800% increase compared to the last academic year. There have been 54 reports of physical assaults on Jewish students on campuses nationwide, more than the last 10 years combined.
Somehow, as bad as it was in the fall, it's actually gotten worse in many ways in the spring. One thing we should also be really clear on is this is not an issue of free speech. This is an issue of conduct. When people are targeting harassment, when they are tearing down posters, when they're engaging in physical misconduct, that's not speech.
At UC Berkeley Tuesday, about 10 student pro-Palestinian activists interrupted a dinner they had been invited to by the law school's dean, Erwin Chemerinsky, who is Jewish. The dean's wife, a Berkeley professor, tried to get them to leave their home, leading to this altercation. UC Berkeley and Columbia are among the 6 universities under investigation for anti-Semitism by the Republican-led Committee on Education. Columbia's president and trustees will testify on Capitol Hill next week.
It is the Jewish students who are coming to us to say we are not safe. It's the Jewish students who are being assaulted. It's not other students. So what we want is for the Columbia University administration to take responsibility for what's happening on the campus and say, we acknowledge it, we're going to do something about it.
Chairwoman Fox says she's skeptical that these suspensions are indicative of a lasting commitment to protecting Jewish students. Sandra.
Brian Yanis, you're in New York City for us. Brian, thank you.
Well, speaking of anti-Semitism, this video, you might remember it. It shocked the nation back in October. Jewish students at Cooper Union in New York City were forced to shelter inside the library during a tense pro-Palestinian rally. 10 of those students now suing the college for allegedly failing to protect them. Joining us now is Brooke Goldstein from the Lawfare project, and you've helped put this case together. What is the case? What are you alleging?
Well, Dana, thank you so much for having me and for highlighting the issue of rising Jew hatred in America. We are suing Cooper's Union on behalf of 10 Jewish students, as you saw, were locked in the library as a pro-Hamas mob in violation of the school policies and illegally chanted genocidal chants and threatened them with violence. And what is so shocking about this case is that President Sparks, the president of the school, during this demonstration, first locked herself in her room because she obviously too felt threatened. Then she escaped the school, leaving the Jewish students at the mercy of the mob. And when the police were called and the police were asked to remove the students and to remove them under police protection, the president gave the police a stand down order not to remove the students and not to assist with the hostile mob. And that is why, amongst other reasons, we are suing the school for failing to protect their Jewish students.
We reached out to the school for a statement. I don't believe we've actually heard from them, but they will have to respond in court. How are the students doing after that pretty traumatic night?
Well, thank you for asking. They are shocked. They are traumatized, and the campus remains unsafe for these students. And what is so alarming is that while the school has come out and made statements for every other minority community, whether it's the Black community, the Asian community, or otherwise, the school has failed to discipline the protesters, even though they were acting in violation of the student code and in violation of the law. The school has also failed to outright condemn the Hamas terrorist attacks on October the 7th, where innocent men, women, and children were slaughtered, raped, burned alive. So can you imagine what it feels like to be a Jewish student at Cooper's Union today?
Well, I wanted to ask you that. Like, has it gotten any better for them, or has because I know, like, back in October, things were pretty hot and heavy. We just showed in Brian Yennis's report that anti-Semitism on college campuses has continued, and he said, and Hillel, the gentleman from Hillel said it's actually increased this spring. And I'm wondering, at Cooper Union, like, can they point to anything that's gotten better?
No, and the fact that there has been no action, no statements made, no disciplinary action means that the Jewish students remain on campus being taunted by the same people who were shouting genocidal slogans like "From the River to the Sea," "Free Palestine," and so forth. This school is in direct violation of numerous state anti-discrimination laws. They're operating in violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, and that's why we are aiming to hold this school as well as others. We have a lawsuit against Columbia University as well accountable, because the Jewish community is a minority community. We're the oldest, most persecuted minority community in human history, and we deserve equal protection under the law.
Brooke Goldstein at Lawfare, thank you for being here today. We'll stay in touch as this case moves along the system.
Thank you.